programs that actually help people where they need it most. It also means maintaining our town's infrastructure, because we all saw what happens when things are neglected. A thriving Portofino is one where people feel connected, supported, and valued at the end of the day. My plan isn't about making promises, it's about making real practical changes that make this town a better place for everyone. And that starts with leadership that doesn't just talk, but takes action.
Thank you, Dr. Restrepo.
Let's get one thing straight. David, my opponent, is out here talking about local issues like that's going to fix anything. He's like Dr. Doolittle. All talk, no action. Promises made, promises exaggerated. That's not just a catchy slogan. It's a direct shot at the current government that's been failing us. In his whole spiel, all he's done is criticize the municipal level. But what Portofino really needs is someone who's going to stand up to the big dogs in the state government and fight for what we deserve. A vote for Weinreich is a vote for real change. We will annihilate crime, bring in wealth, and reinvest that wealth into building Portofino the way it should have been all along. Man, we have everything we need here, folks, to build Portofino up. It's time to stop talking and actually look at the bigger picture. And I'm the man that's going to do it.
Thank you both for taking the time to answer my questions and for allowing me the opportunity to speak with you tonight.
Let's be clear, folks. We're going to annihilate crime in Portofino. First thing I'm doing is establishing a mayoral crime squad. No more playing around with the same old tactics. We're bringing in the real muscle. And don't get me started on the city chiefs. We're going to evaluate every single one of them and make sure we have the right people in the right jobs. Because right now, we don't. Simple as that. If they're not up to the job, they're out. We need strong leadership, not people sitting.
Annihilate crime, fix the leadership, and bring the entertainment. That's how we'll make Portofino great.
For our final question before we open the floor to the public for additional questioning, how will you address the specific needs of the city's underserved populations, such as city staff? Dr. Restrepo, if you would be so inclined to start us off.
I did like that movie. I wish I could talk to animals. Thank you for the mental image, Nick. Thank you, Mari. City staff and underserved populations are the backbone of Portofino, and the way we treat them says everything about the kind of leadership we have. These are the people who keep the city running, who provide essential services, who make daily life possible for the rest of us. If they aren't supported properly, the entire system suffers. The first step to addressing their needs is actually listening to them. Too often, decisions are made for them rather than with them. That needs to change. I want to work directly with city staff and other underserved groups to identify exactly where the gaps are, whether it's fair wages, improved working conditions, better resources, or stronger benefits. Beyond that, my approach is simple: prioritization over politics. Supporting these groups isn't about grandstanding, it's about making sure the city functions well from the inside out. That means ensuring city employees are properly compensated, that they have access to mental health resources, and that they are respected and valued for the work they do. For underserved communities in general, we need to focus on accessibility. Whether that's better public services, healthcare options, or programs designed to uplift people rather than leave them behind, our goal should always be to create opportunities, not barriers. At the end of the day, a city is only as strong as the people who hold it together. If we don't invest in them, we are failing the very foundation of Portofino.
Thank you, Doctor. And your follow-up, Mr. Weinreich?
Look, folks. David here, he's really good at talking, isn't he? He's got all the buzzwords, all the fancy plans, but when you get down to it, where's the action? We've heard it all before. The same old promises, the same old speeches, but the city's still in the same spot. Promises made, promises exaggerated. That's not just a slogan for me, it's a jab at the reality we're living, and let's be real. David talks about supporting city workers, but where's the plan to actually give you what you deserve? You've been busting your butts, and yet you're still not getting the respect, the pay, or the resources you need. I'm not here to give you speeches. I'm here to give you results. When I'm in office, we're going to give you the raises you deserve, and we're going to make sure you get the resources you need to do your jobs right. And let's also talk about the future of Portofino. We're going to bring the wealth back to this city. We'll make it thrive with real investments, not just promises that never come true. The people in power now talk about plans all day, but where are the results? We're going to put Portofino first, and I'm going to make sure we start seeing action immediately. But hey, I've got a suggestion. Maybe we can save the city a ton of money this election and just settle it with a golf tournament. No need to waste all those taxpayer dollars on these endless debates and campaigns. Why don't we give all that money wasted on this to the undeserved as a raise? If you want someone who actually knows how to lead, who doesn't just talk but gets things done, then I'm your guy.
Thank you, Mr. Weinreich, for your answer. And thank you both for being so forward with your answers. I'm sure that this has allowed the public to truly get to know the both of you. Now, we will turn the microphone over to the public. If any of you have any questions, please form a cordial line and ask them now. If not, I leave the floor open to both candidates to meet with their potential voters or whatever they decide to do.
Thank you, Mari. Thank you for asking these tough questions. I think the community has a good sense of what's needed here. And Aubrey, thank you for being fair with your questions. You're a real pro.
Thank you very much for your hard work. I appreciate it.
Evening, gentlemen. You may know who I am already, but in case you don't, I'm Deputy James McDonnell of Portofino Police Department. I really only have one question. It's a two-parter really for Mr. Weinreich. You mentioned creating some sort of mayoral crime squad. What exactly is a mayoral crime squad and how do you see that working with my department?
Deputy Chief McDonnell, let me tell you something. Thank you for the question, but here's the deal. Portofino is done with crime. Zero tolerance, folks, zero. We're gonna strengthen those city bylaws, make sure they're enforced like never before. Believe me. Now, as for the mayoral crime squad, huge, big idea. It's all about giving your department the tools, the resources, the support, everything you need to do the job. You won't have to wait around, that's for sure. How does it work with your team? Well, let's be honest. It's up to you. But unlike Dr. Doolittle over there, he's got these ridiculous Minority Report fantasies, thinking he can predict crime. I'm bringing in the real stuff. Real, tangible resources. We're talking tanks. We're talking helicopters. We're talking new weapons, big weapons. And for those of you who love action, we're creating specialized response units to go after violent crime. And guess what? We're taking it off the streets. Fast. No more waiting around, no more messing around. We're putting the criminals on notice. Pauses, nodding decisively. And we're not going to stop until we win.
Well, thank you for the entertaining response. Best of luck to you both, gentlemen.
Good evening to you both. My question is actually for the both of you. So today you were asked about successes and how they relate to how you would work for us as mayor. But can you tell us of times where you weren't as successful and how you overcame those obstacles? Because as we all know, mayors aren't always successful in their endeavors.
Good evening, Stacy, and thank you for the question. Failure is something every doctor knows intimately. No matter how skilled you are, how well prepared, how much you fight for a patient, sometimes, you lose them anyway. I remember one case in particular. A young man came into my OR after a severe accident, massive internal bleeding. We did everything, we worked fast, we exhausted every option, but in the end, it wasn't enough. I had to call it. Moments like that don't leave you. They sit with you. The what-ifs creep in, the feeling that maybe, somehow, there was something else you could have done. But the hardest lesson you learn in medicine, and in life, is that you can't save everyone. You won't win every fight. What matters is what you do afterward. That loss made me a better doctor, not because I stopped failing, but because I learned to carry failure without letting it stop me from moving forward. Every mistake, every missed opportunity, every moment where I came up short, it all became fuel to do better, to be better, to make sure the next patient had the best possible chance. Being mayor won't be perfect. There will be setbacks, mistakes, obstacles I can't anticipate. But what I can promise is this, I will always show up, I will always take responsibility, and I will always keep moving forward, as I have done for many years in the medical environment. Despite my own personal, physical and emotional challenges, I show up, I always show up. Because leadership isn't about never failing, it's about how you respond when you do.
Stacy, that's a fantastic question, truly. Look, failure is not the end. It is a necessary part of the path. Hope will always survive in those who continue to fight. The difference between me and others is that I don't dwell on failure. I don't sit around saying, "Oh, poor me." No, I get right back up, figure it out, and go straight to work. I've dealt with challenges. People have tried to throw me off course, tried to make me look bad. But they can't. I always come out on top, stronger than ever. Take, for example, the Weinreich-Samber bird trials. I'll be honest, it was a tough situation. Things got messy. And sure, there were moments when people thought it wasn't going to work. But here's the thing. I didn't back down. I stood firm, handled it with strength, and in the end, we came out on top. And that's what I do. I face obstacles head-on and find a way to win. Now look, I've got to apologize to my beloved wife sitting right behind me for even bringing that up, but it's a learning experience. We all have those moments where we get knocked down. But what separates the winners from the losers is how we get back up. And I always get back up, bigger, better, and more determined than ever.
Thank you both. Good luck with the campaign.
Firstly, I'd like to thank you both for today's debate. It was very insightful into the kind of government each will run whoever gets elected. I have a question for each of you, but I will start with my question for Mr. Weinreich. During the debate, you talked about how your opponent made promises and exaggerated promises, and you seemed not too keen on it. But isn't that the same slogan you're running on?